All right, let's talk about some football. I don't know shit about it. Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills. Looks like they're playing the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, apparently it's distasteful to play this video of a dude getting hurt on the field, but I use the doctor video here. So he's going to break it down for us, tell us what's going on, and it's educational.
Tonight is one of the most rare things we can see in sports medicine, as Damar Hamlin went down with what appeared to be cardiac arrest after taking this hit on the field. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Suter, and on this channel I try to teach you about the sports medicine world and give you some insight into what we see on the field. What we saw happen tonight is not related to any sort of vaccines. This is almost certainly something called commotio cordis, an extremely rare condition that's one of those things that we typically only think we're going to read about in textbooks. Essentially what can happen is if you have a blunt trauma to the chest that occurs at exactly the right time in the cardiac electrical cycle, your heart can be sent into cardiac arrest. As Hamlin comes in here, we can see this square hit to the front of his chest. We see him get back up momentarily before ultimately collapsing back down to the ground and requiring CPR on the field. This is a tracing of our heart's electrical activity. Basically, this is one cycle of the heart squeezing. Starts off with this P wave, which is the electrical activity of the atrium at the top of the heart squeezing, then the QRS complex, which is going to be the ventricles acting, but then the last phase is this T wave, where the ventricle basically depolarizes and kind of resets to get ready for the next cycle. For commotio cordis to happen, you have to suffer this blunt trauma to the chest at exactly the right moment, specifically on this upstroke of the T wave, in order for the heart to then be sent into this arrhythmia and subsequent cardiac arrest. This is one of those things that not only do you have to have a high enough force, but it has to happen within milliseconds of a time window, because if that impact comes at any other time in this electrical cycle, you're fine. You don't go into this. But when it happens at just this right time during this upstroke of the T wave, and if it's high enough, then you can have this thing called commotio cordis. We typically think of it happening in baseball players whenever they get hit in the middle of the chest with a hard thrown ball, but unfortunately that looks like what is most likely to have happened here with Hamlin. Treatment like this is obviously CPR and defibrillation as quickly as possible, because this can absolutely be a life-threatening thing. Again, this is not something that people should go speculate about vaccines or anything like that causing this cardiac arrest. There was a clear contact, a clear trauma, and I think a clear reason why unfortunately this happened for Hamlin. My thoughts and prayers go out to the player, go out to his family, everybody else there on the field, the medical staff.
Thoughts and prayers.
This is an extremely serious thing. One of those conditions that, like I said, you hope, you pray, you never actually see as a medical provider. But hopefully this was educational. Let me know as always any questions or comments.
It was. Thank you.
We'll see you later.
This was Brian Stutterer. Brian Stutterer, totally into it. Thank you for a very informative video. Not vaccines. Not vaccines. However, that doesn't stop right-wing lunatics from speculating about it. This one is Charlie Kirk, our good buddy who tells us to live in sexual anarchy.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Branded human garbage over Damar Hamlin remarks. Outgoing rep Adam Kinzinger bashed conservative activist Charlie Kirk for his comments seemingly fueling anti-vaccine conspiracy theories after football star Damar Hamlin suffered a cardiac arrest during the first quarter of a match against the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday night. I do want to point out that it was not the league that stopped the game. They did not go back out on the field. It was the fucking players union. Once again, a fucking win for unions. Hamlin received on-field medical attention for more than half an hour before being taken to a local hospital where he's now in critical condition. Apparently he has stabilized. According to a statement by the Buffalo Bills, his heartbeat was restored on the field. In a tweet, Kirk claimed that the collapse of the 24-year-old Buffalo Bills player fits in a series of recent incidents involving athletes dropping suddenly, something he said has become all too familiar sight now. This is a tragic and all too familiar sight. Athletes dropping suddenly. Like, I don't even know what he's talking about. We saw Tagovailoa or whatever, Tua Tagovailoa get a concussion. I mean, that totally wasn't the vaccine, so I don't know who all these athletes are that are dropping suddenly. You are absolutely the biggest piece of human garbage that can possibly exist right now. I literally think you are done now. Kinzinger wrote on Twitter, using this tragedy for your BS lies is sick. I agree with Adam Kinzinger. Yeah, I don't know what other cases there are. And it's pretty bad when you fucking... Charlie Kirk is more of a conspiracy theorist than InfoWars. InfoWars. Here is Owen Schroyer saying the opposite of what Charlie Kirk is saying.
In the NFL is violent. Even the routine ones. And I'm willing to stay, and I don't think this is a reach, and a lot of people won't like this, but I'm sorry, it's the truth. Folks, the gentleman collapsed and had a cardiac event because of the hit. The vaccine did not cause him to collapse on the field. Now, again, if we find out he is vaccinated or double vaccinated, now you have the issue of, did the vaccine make the situation worse? Because he was vaccinated and had a fiber clot, was it harder to get his heart going again? Did it make it a situation that was already bad much worse? That's a fair question to ask. But anybody saying that his cardiac event was not caused by the hit, I'm sorry, but you're making a fool of yourself. This is about a 30-mile-per-hour collision, and Hamlin takes direct blunt force trauma to the chest, to the heart.
Takes the knee.
This has happened in sports.
Good evening, my
before
friend.
Vaccines. I personally remember somebody I know, Chris Pronger, and
I guess I'm just...
got hit with a slap shot.
I'm so proud of him for not being completely batshit that I'll let that slide and be like, okay, fair enough. The answer to the question is no. The vaccine probably had absolutely nothing to do with anything. But I was just so amazed that the rest of the, and that he's like speaking some truth to his audience, because I know Owen Schroyer, and usually him being reasonable is not a thing.
Every hit in the NFL is violent, even the routine ones.
This is a dangerous fucking sport.
I'm willing to stay, and I don't think this is a reach, and a lot of people won't like this, but I'm sorry, it's the truth. Folks, the gentleman collapsed and had a cardiac event because of the hit.
So the question that's a fair question to ask now is, what do we do about the game of football? With what we know now about CTE, what we have seen this season with Tua Tagovailoa, and I might be butchering his name, I'm sorry. And now this. I don't know that you cancel football. Is that the answer? Is there a way to modify it? Soccer, also incredibly violent. Boxing. You put boxing on the list. You also put MMA on the list. All these contacts, fucking, what's the one they play like in Australia? Cricket? Like, cricket's like the most violent one. Rugby, that's it. Rugby's the most violent one. Thank you, Hilda Beast. You are awesome. What even is cricket? I don't fucking know. But rugby was what I was thinking of. Thank you. Have you heard the freaking news? YouTube, Facebook, and all of big tech are trying to do a cancel culture on JustinFREAKIN.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Help the channel stay alive and grow by subscribing or following, and be sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the fun, even when one platform tries to shut us up.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
If you have it to spare and really want to show support, consider subbing on Twitch, becoming a patron, or a member on YouTube. You'll get access to extra delights and debauchery, and you'll have my eternal appreciation. Thank you for being a freaking follower, and have a great freaking day.